Now, for a global business update, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Ion. Well done to Hobby and his performance yesterday.
Thank you very much.
He rocked the house. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning to all our viewers out there. Is that a thing? Happy Boxing Day? Did we do that?
If we have Happy Sunday, we can have Happy Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day. So we begin with Maersk. They announced that they are going to resume their routes in the Red Sea. And it is as a result of the security apparatus that has been promised by the United States, the UK, Canada, and everything else. If you want to link this to this terrible tragedy that we've had, of course, in Plateau State now, if a company was saying they weren't going to operate there, what would bring them back? Well, it is the assurance of security, as I and Doctor have both eloquently stated this morning. Security operations are what give companies the confidence to resume their operations in areas of insecurity. So here's a statement from Maersk, which I believe they released, saying that they indeed would resume their operation. So it said with the Operation Prosperity Guardian, which was announced by the United States Secretary of Defense Austin, they said that initiative in operation, we are preparing to allow for vessels to resume transit through the Red Sea, both eastbound and westbound. The thing here, it is about security. That's how, and you can see how insecurity impacts companies. From there, we go to electric vehicles. 2023 is almost over, but we still have more deals that are coming through. Thailand this time is going to get $4.3 billion over the next 5 years from Japanese automakers. So, you know, the likes of Toyota, the likes of Isuzu, they are all going to be investing in Thailand. $4.3 billion over the next 5 years. This was announced by the Thailand government as a result of them wanting to expand the electric vehicle footprint across Asia. So again, still more deals being broken. This is the future. This is where companies are putting their money. It is in electric vehicles, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with, you know, petrol-fueled petrol vehicles going forward and their demand. So from there, we go to sports. I think Aaron is also going to discuss this as well, but of course we're dealing with Jim Ratcliffe, who is of course a billionaire in Europe. He of course has announced, I think this broke yesterday, a $1.3 billion stake, 25% stake in Manchester United, and that stake of course is now, of course, Manchester United has two classes of shares. You've got Class A shares and Class B shares. The Class B shares have 10 times the voting power of Class A, and the Class B shares are held by the Glazer family, the Glazer siblings. So this deal has been long in the making. He gets a 25% stake. It also gives, I think we have a quote from Ratcliffe where he said that, you know, he's a lifelong Manchester United fan. He's in the chemicals industry, of course. That's where he made his money. As a local boy and a lifelong supporter of the club, I'm very pleased that we've been able to agree a deal with the Manchester United board. And as a result of that, he's been given full license for the operations of the club. So he says here, the deal delegates us management responsibility of the football operations. We are here for the long term and recognize that a lot of challenges and hard work lie ahead. So he's getting, they're going to sell him Class B shares, but I think he's going to convert over to Class A. So it's still minority shares that he's going to be holding. So he doesn't really have that much control. But we understand that he's going to be pumping in about $300 million into the club. And you've seen, I confess, I'm a Manchester United, a struggling Manchester United fan, and things have not really been that good for the club in terms of operations. So they need more money in the club, and hopefully Ratcliffe will turn things around, but as he acknowledged, it's going to take a long time. I think we come to the African continent now, and I talked about this on December the 11th or so, when Ethiopia had a short period in order to make a grace period to make a $33 million payment on December 11th for a coupon for bonds. Essentially, they've defaulted on it. They told investors that that it was going to be tight for them to be able to make this payment. They've had foreign exchange issues, as in FX shortages over there, and so now they're now in talks now to restructure the debt. So they've joined the likes of Zambia, Sri Lanka, emerging markets that have essentially defaulted on their debts in 2023. So that's on the Ethiopian side. We come to Nigeria, and again, unfortunately, this tragedy that's happened in Plateau State, there is a link when you think about the fact that Plateau is the bread basket the Middle Belt is the bread basket of Nigeria. All these attacks, you think about how they impact farming and what it means for food inflation. Let me take you back to a food supply shock. This was part of a central bank monetary policy meet. I think this was when Gordon Emefiele was still a central bank governor. He mentioned the causes of food supply shocks in the country. As you can see, entry to road transportation costs, security issues in food producing areas, and then legacy infrastructure challenges. So the second point there is what we're seeing again. The economy is always tied into this. Remember the tragic bombing in that village in Kaduna, where Arise had the exclusive interview with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa, on Newsnight, where he talked about the inability to locally produce our weapons is hindering our ability to be able to defend ourselves because we're spending so much FX importing weapons into the nation. So there's an economic link here. So, we hope that, as you both have said, that, the security operatives can do what they need to do to stop these attacks. So it's tragic, and it's a terrible Black Christmas for that area. And then finally, the Competition Authority, the CEO, Mr. Babatunde Irukara, gave an interview on television saying that they want to keep up the pressure on defaults on loan apps. They have reduced harassment by about 80%, where people get these digital lending apps of loans, and they essentially have to, I don't know if you've seen this thing, if you default on a payment, they'll send your picture to your relatives and your friends saying that they'll broadcast it on WhatsApp and things like that. So they've addressed that. They want to address the remaining 20%, but they're still concerned about the rising debt, and they are saying there's more regulation that's going to be coming in 2024. That is our updates for Boxing Day.
All right, thank you very much, Rotus. I'll just comment on the last story that you talked about, because I must salute the work that Mr. Babatunde Irukara has done. It's interesting that you bring this update about loan apps and being able to curtail their harassment, bullying and intimidation of defaulters. And a few days ago, I was having a conversation with some people, and we're talking about the fact that actually we've seen less, or we've heard of less incidents of people getting calls and saying, almost leading people to doing harm to themselves. Yeah. So I want to say thank you to him for doing this, because they do come under cover, under what's it called now? Under stress and attacks, when they don't, it seems as if people are, consumers are being exploited. So when they've done well, we give them kudos. I also like the fact that, despite the fact that they've done, like he's mentioned, 80% reduction in that, they're looking to do even more in the year 2024. In addition to loan apps, he has his work cut out for him. Unfortunately, he's not in an enviable position, and we believe that consumer rights can be further protected in Nigeria. I want to again make a case for, the flights. I know on your show here talked about the fact that he was grateful to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development for saying that they were going to put a fine and levy on operators who delay flights. Right. But I think they need to really pursue that and enforce it. It can be better. We can have a better experience as Nigerians when we're using, services that we pay very heavily for. We pay premium to fly. So why should passengers be treated unfairly? There are other areas, banks. I know CBN handles that, and you can. There's a CBN complaints department that you can tag when it comes to failure, when transfer failures, monies. I have money hanging from 2 years ago.
Are you serious?
Yes, so the bank hasn't paid me, and I've been following up. So a number of situations like that. But just wanted to highlight that if we can have a quick win with regards to one area, let us have it. It also helps with businesses. It also helps with enabling a better business environment, not just for the consumers, but even business owners benefits when consumers are happier. So I believe that excellent work is done. Well, okay, let me not say excellent, but good work is done in 2023, and looking forward to even better work in 2024.
Okay, if I may piggyback on that. Yes, I commend the work that Babatunde Irukara is doing. But, these loan sharks, they can be really vicious. Yeah. I tell the story of one young man who had gone to borrow money, where he told me he didn't borrow, that they gave him the money, and they said they will collect the money from him. And I told him, no, I don't believe that. You must have borrowed the money. I referred him to the Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, where the loan shark there said he would take a pound of flesh, and they wanted to take the pound of flesh literally. I don't know whether the fellow was listening to me. When I saw that he didn't get a Merchant of Venice, I referred him to Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3, where Polonius told his son, Letis, that neither a borrower nor a lender be. Don't borrow, don't lend money. But, you know, conventional wisdom is that if you want to do business, if you want to survive, you have to lend money. And we're in the 21st century,
Indeed.
right? Okay. So these are, you know, ancient things that people say about borrowing. But I think it is good to protect the consumer, which is the major work of the commission that is led by Babatunde Irukera. But maybe also people can learn from the morality in The Merchant of Venice and also in Act 1, Scene 3 of Hamlet. That is that about that.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the Red Sea. Maersk wants to go back. The last time we discussed this matter, I said Maersk had taken a decision to suspend, you know, taking their goods and services through the Red Sea because of the crisis there.
Yeah.
Houthi rebels based in Syria attacking vessels, commercial vessels particularly, along that route. So they said they will go through Cape of Good Hope. Now, the cost of going through Cape of Good Hope in South Africa is that a trip that is supposed to take 13 days will take 31 days.
Yeah.
So that will be some kind of disruption to global supply chain. And it was not only, you know, Maersk that was affected. Maersk is the Danish, Denmark, you know, company. There was also British Petroleum. British Petroleum also had to suspend its operations. And because of attacks on these vessels, the Americans came up with what they call Operation Prosperity Guardian. And this Operation Prosperity Guardian involves other countries. Involves Bahrain, involves Canada, France, the UK coming together to protect that trade route, which is a major international trade route, which accounts for 12% of global trade. And this is part of the price, you know, that the entire human community is having to pay in terms of not just oil, you know, taken through that route, but also, you know, electronics, all kinds of goods taken through that route. So Maersk now has been assured, it looks like, by the joint international maritime security operation led by the United States to think that that particular route is now secure. There was another subject that you brought up that I would like to comment on very briefly.
Yeah.
Which is that now?
Ratcliffe?
Ratcliffe!
Yes.
Now, Ratcliffe throws up a number of questions. You know that the Glazer family, they are not very popular with the Manchester United supporters club. Okay. The question is, what happens next? Ratcliffe, through his Ineos group, they own a club in France, right? In French Ligue 1, Nice. Yeah. They own some other sporting investments. So they are bringing to the table, you know, some experience. After the Sheikh, the Arab Sheikh, Janis, withdrew in October, it was certain that Ratcliffe was going to strike this day. So he gets 25%. The 25%, well, the Glazer family will still maintain majority shares, 69%, which is like 97% actually. But he can bring to the board of Manchester United PLC and Manchester United Football Club, you know, his own persons. And he has already named the persons who will represent him on those boards. The $300 million you refer to is for Old Trafford, you know, to reinvent Old Trafford. But the other question is, what happens to Eric Ten Hag?
All right.
Will his job be saved? The other question is, what happens in the January window? Because Manchester United, the other time they were buying players, they were just looking for easy ones that they could buy. And then, of course, the expectation of the supporters of Manchester United is that Jim Ratcliffe will be able to take charge. If he doesn't take charge, the supporters will continue to complain. The last time Manchester United led the Premier League, won the cup, was in 2013.
Dr. Why now?
When Alex Ferguson,
why do you have to...
Alex Ferguson left. Out of 26 matches in all competitions this season, they have lost 13.
Right.
So they are bogged down by all kinds of inconsistencies.
Terrible.
But what next for Manchester United? That is the question. Thank you very much, Rutus.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Rutus.
Thank you.
It's time.